Thank you so much for supporting The Way of Success and George Johnson Ministries. Our ministry started from humble beginnings in Prattville, Alabama, with a clear word from the Lord. We preach the word, help the hurting, and love people. Our vision is quite clear. We reach the lost, transform lives, and equip believers to live in victory, success, and triumph. We operationalize the vision by the church going beyond its four walls and into the community using the platforms of television, radio, social media, conferences, and much more. Please partner with us today. You can do so by downloading the Givelify app. When you download the app, go to the search engine and type in The Way of Success Christian Fellowship. Under city and state, type in McDonough, Georgia. The rest is easy. Thank you again for supporting The Way of Success and George Johnson Ministries.
Well, praise the Lord.
Praise
and welcome
Lord.
to our show, Couples and a Whole Lot of Coffee. I had to play that joke on my brother Jonathan. He has an amazing show
On Saturday.
on Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock Eastern time, called Jesus and a Whole Lot of Coffee. It's an amazing show. It talks about a lot of different things that deals with life. It talks about how to overcome, how to walk in victory, how to walk in success.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great show. I really enjoy it.
And he loves coffee.
And so every time he comes on, he always shows coffee cup and he says, Jesus
and
a whole
lot of
So
coffee.
we're doing couples
and
a whole lot of
coffee.
No, we're not, Jonathan. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We just minister on life, family, faith, power,
Yes.
walking in your purpose. Our vision of this ministry is very simple. We reach the lost, transform lives, and we equip believers to walk in victory, success, and triumph for living. But we believe that in order to walk in that victory, success, and triumph for living, it starts with the family. That is the center unit of the family.
That is. Guys, I was just sitting there thinking, y'all know Bishop been bullying me.
What?
He's been bullying. Listen, I got a little issue going on with my contacts. It's time. One of my prescription is messed up. I got to switch it out. So I need my glasses to be able to see the writing. And I put my glasses on. He was like, you got glares on the screen.
It was glaring off the screen. I was just trying to help you out.
So he just wants me to sit here and just be like this. So if I get a deer in the headlight look, it's because he talked about my glasses so bad.
No, not really. I really. Kim, the people want to know,
okay,
why did I shave my beard off?
Do
I
you
had a
want-
beard, then I went down to the
Should we
goatee.
tell them? Should we tell them?
So here's it is.
Should I tell them?
Yes.
Because Bishop can't shave in a straight line.
No,
He screwed his.
that was not it this time. In times past, that was the issue. This time, Kale, you know how I get that gray, right? So I put the dye on there to make it gray. I don't know. It started turning yellow.
I don't like my
So
man with
I
a
said,
yellow
no,
beard.
I gotta cut that off, man.
That
So,
yellowish.
yeah, so I cut off and I said, we'll just start over. We'll just start over again because I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I forgot you turned colors.
Yeah, it was
that
yellow.
That one cute. That one cute. That ain't what
All right,
we
we'll
do.
come back with pillow conversations. All right, we call this part of the show Pillow Conversations, just topics my wife and I, we talk about at night sometimes, or sometimes lately when we are exercising, right? We're talking about these different topics. So, honey, you got the one today,
I got a question. So our topic tonight is talking about bickering and building that bridge to harmony.
Right.
And so we've had some conversations around bickering. So I want to pose a question.
Okay.
And can bickering be a sign that someone's just really passionate about something in a relationship? Or does that mean that it's something deeper? Like if it continues or keeps coming up, what can it be a sign? And maybe somebody's just passionate and maybe that's why you keep bringing it up, because you're just really passionate. Is it a bad thing?
We're going to talk about that tonight a little bit, because you could be passionate about something, but then it's turned into nagging, right? And who wants to be nagged?
Okay.
Know? Who wants to be, did you take trash out? Did you take trash out? Did you take trash out? What? I mean, how many times you got to tell me that I take trash out, right? So sometimes it could turn into nagging, and that could be a problem. And sometimes people really feel strongly about something, right? And I think you have to value that person feels strongly about. But we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. But it can be passionate, because if you feel strong about something, we was talking about a person, and we were talking about whenever this person feels strongly about something,
they go on and
they
on.
Keep going on and on and on and on and on and on, and they keep talking about it, right? And I said, and I was telling my wife, I said, when that person does that, I said they feel passionate about that.
Well, and I think I want to add bickering also to me. Again, we'll get into the details. It's that kind of back and forth as well. And so if someone keeps going to the same thing, I think that is an indication that they're either passionate about it or that is just a really touchy point for them.
Could be.
And as a couple, we need to talk about it. And if it's bickering, that means obviously we're not seeing the same side about it.
It's going to be an amazing.
We keep going
it's going to be an amazing topic tonight. Okay. We're going to talk about it.
Let's see what we bring.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right, we're going to be ministering on bickering, but we don't want to just leave the people at bickering. We want to go beyond bickering. We want to start building a bridge to harmony. Building a bridge to harmony in your marriage. Our background text for this is do all things without murmuring. What I say? Murmuring and disputing. Philippians chapter 2, verse 14. That's the basics for what we're going to be talking about when we're talking about bickering. Why do we want to talk about this topic? A lot of times I always talk about like a story.
Okay.
I like to open with a story and talk about a story. And so it's a story of these two monks. Mm-hmm. And they were traveling along a highway.
Yes.
And when they were traveling along a highway, they saw a lady that had fell into a pit.
Okay.
And so the two monks were discussing among themselves, should we get her out? Should we help her? So one of the monks, he just got tired of fussing about it. And he said, I'm going to get her out. He jumped down in the pit.
Okay.
Somehow he managed to use his clothes, tie a rope with his clothes or some type of safety harness with his clothes.
Okay.
He grabs the lady, he climbs out of the pit, and he saved the lady's life.
Okay.
put his clothes back on, and the 2 monks began to continue their journey. 4 hours into the trip,
Can you say 4 hours
the
later?
other monk says, "Why did you get that lady out of that pit? Don't you know it is against our religion to touch another woman?"
Mm.
And the other monk looked at the other monk, looked the one that jumped in the pit. He looked at the monk and he said, "You're still carrying the lady? I released her 4 hours ago.
Wow. In
Why
other
are you
words,
still carrying this lady in your memory, your thought process? Why are you still carrying her? I saved her
and let
4
her
hours
go 4 hours
and let her
ago.
go 4 hours ago.
But you still own
But you
it.
still carrying her."
Wow.
That's what bickering is.
Okay.
A lot of times it's things that are habitual in nature. I got a definition I'm going to share with the people because a lot of times we use words. And next week, you don't want to miss next week because we're going to talk about how bickering leads to confusion.
Mm.
And Kim and I, we've dealt with this before in the past in our marriage, is that you could be bickering about something in your marriage and you could be in the argument, right? And then later on you forget, like, I don't know, well,
Now, where were we going with this?
right?
Like, what was the point?
Why do we keep talking about this? Well, let's look at this
Exactly.
definition here. Bickering is petty, trivial, and I wish I could have just
And often contains
put it up on the stage so people could have saw it.
argument.
But go ahead, read. You want to read it?
Or quarreling, typically about something unimportant or something that's minor. It's the back and forth exchanges that can become habitual with loud tones and annoyances. So thinking about the story of the monk, there was action that took place.
Right.
It was over and done with.
Over with.
Oh, but 4 hours later, this guy is still focusing on not the victory. We saved somebody, not the good outcomes, but you touched her.
Right.
You got her out.
And a lot of times, when you think about this, Kim,
Mm-hmm.
what stands out to me in this definition is a lot of times bickering and quarreling in couples, sometimes it's over stuff that's not important.
Little bitty stuff. It's the little
Small
foxes.
things. It's the
small. It's the little
foxes
that spoil.
I remember years ago.
Like the milk in the refrigerator that time.
Right. My mother's still right about that. My mom said drink whole milk, and she's always been right.
Skim, people, you don't need the extra fat.
But I do want to talk about this. Years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I was believing God for something, and I remember Apostle Washington told me this. He said, "Don't be ensnared."
Okay.
Don't be ensnared. Do you know what a snare is? A snare, when you think about your clothes, right? Sometimes you have your clothes, and sometimes that little piece of thread that sits out and it catch you on your hand, that's a snare.
Or catch you something when you pass by.
A lot of times, this is what trips a lot of people up in the body of Christ or in a relationship. The relationship could be going fine. It could be going no. It could be
having a perfect day, a good day.
All of a sudden, something small or minute happens. Forget to wash the bowl and put the bowl up. Okay, here's ours now. Here's ours. We're going to be transparent. Years ago, here's ours now.
Okay.
Fail to put the towel up after you take a shower. Guilty. Got put my guilty hand up. I was guilty of that, right? But it could be a big. And then after you start talking about it and you get into a contentious argument, notice it said the exchanges become and they can become loud and annoying. Now they turn to your voice irritating me. This is irritating me. Why are we talking about? It's bickering.
Yes.
It's bickering. But
little things that really don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
But what we have to understand about the bickering and the murmuring and the complaining is the Bible says do all things without murmuring and complaining. Why would you say that? Why would you say do all things without murmuring and complaining? Because it leads to what we're going to talk about next week, and that's confusion.
Yeah.
It leads to disagreement.
It's a doorway to other things.
Right.
Right. So you don't just, it's like, I'll give an example. I'm always going back to flowers and plants, and they talk about weeds. It's like when you get that little seed, like of a weed or something, and it gets into your flower bed. It's just a little bit. It's little foxes spoil vine, just a little bit. But when it grows, you look up and it'll overtake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's created all other kind of problems and issues. It's a little thing that seems small, but it grows and opens the door for something bigger.
Right. Pastor Mike preached this one time, and he used to be the pastor of Faith Chapel in
Retired.
Birmingham. He didn't retire.
He would transition.
He transitioned to
from the lead pastor.
Yeah, he's not the lead pastor. He transitioned to now. He runs a more global outreach ministry where he train pastors. But I digress to say this. He was talking about Matthew chapter 14. Or was it Mark chapter 14? Just talk while I look it up. I think it's Mark, but it talks about the sower sowing the word. Maybe Mark chapter 4. Let me look this up right quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You talk while I look it up right quick.
Okay, so I was trying to see where you were making your point with.
Yeah. What I was trying to say was he talked about how the sower goes out and so this guy went out and he sowed the seed, right? And when he sowed the seed, he said it fell on different kind of soil. One fell on soil, sprung up real fast, and he said the sun dried it out. And then he said the next type of seed, he sowed the soil. He said, but here's the one that I want to talk about. He said, but when he sowed the seed,
Matthew 13.
Right. Not Mark, but it's also Mark. It's Mark. It's Mark.
Okay.
But anyway,
just go on.
It talks about when he sows the seed, but the part that's really important is that he said when he sowed the seed, it said the flowers grew up, right? It said, but then the thorns also grew and choked the life of the seed. Mark chapter 4. And it choked the life of the seed. That's what bickering does. That's what bickering does. It grows up in your marriage and it chokes the victory of your marriage. Wow. It chokes the harmony of your marriage.
It can choke the life out of the day or the event or the occasion.
Because of the bickering. And the bickering turns to arguing. And then the arguing turns into complaining.
Frustration.
Murmuring.
Frustration. Isolation. All of that.
Is derived from a
all
spirit
over
of
something
bickering.
That was initially minute.
Right.
But it grew into something else. And now you look up and like, what happened? What happened to our day? What happened to this event? What happened to this occasion? What happened to this moment? We let the enemy steal our time.
Now, we're talking about this in the relationships of husband and wife.
Yeah, it can happen with
this
kids.
can happen in organizations. Notice we said bickering is petty, trivial, often continuous arguing or quarreling over stuff that's not important. If you look at, now listen, I ain't telling you which way to go. Republican, Democrat, Independent, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But when you start talking about, we told my son that. When he went up as a son, stay away from this topic right here. I said, stay away from religion and stay away from politics. When you start talking about that and quarreling over that, you're not going to change anybody's mind. When you start talking about somebody's faith, they really believe that. They really believe that. The Bible says that the entrance of the word brings light. Not your bickering, arguing, complaining, and trying to prove your stance. Now, we have to contend for the faith.
Yes.
But your workplace is not.
It's not the spot.
One guy said this. He said, your life is speaking so loud, I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah. They're watching your life.
They watch your life. Your life was before. So this can go beyond just marriage. It can go into your relationship. I mean, it could go into your workforce. It could go into your organization. It can go into your church.
The school system where your kids are.
Why am I always ushering? Why you can't usher? Listen, we're all serving. Why you get to be the one to stand up? The enemy has majored in this thing called
majored in the minors.
Majored in the minors. We're all serving.
Yes.
If everybody just jump in where they can help, hey, listen, maybe I just need that at that moment. You understand what I'm saying? But when you start getting this is beneath in this bickering and arguing over small stuff, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. Honey, what are the roots of bickering?
Oh, what are some of the roots of bickering? Some of the common causes, I believe, for bickering, stress. I think when people are stressed, their tolerance levels are low. And so they're more likely to bite back because they're stressed. Miscommunication, misunderstanding. The other week we talked about filters. And so sometimes there's just a misunderstanding of what someone tried to communicate. Unmet expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a lot of times in relationships, we see this in the workplace and things of that nature as well. People have a set of expectations that they did not articulate to others or their spouse. In this instance, their significant other. And we just think people should know. We all come from different backgrounds, different places, different spaces. We have different personalities. We have different ways of viewing things. And unless you articulate your expectations, people don't always know.
Right.
But they get bent out of shape because you didn't fulfill the expectation that you never communicated.
Here's a big one right here, and this Kim and George right here now. Kim and George, personality. We was talking about this on the way to church.
Mm-hmm.
Personality. On the way home from church. Personality differences.
They're personality differences.
Personality differences. So my wife gives this test, and it talks about these different personalities. I didn't even know that this existed, right? And we really need to do a workshop on this, right? Because you could be what they call a type A personality, and then you could be somebody amazing like me who is type B personality, right? Who just really amazing. Now, what y'all don't understand about type A, type B, rarely somebody is just all the way type A. Rarely.
No, there are levels. There's you have some people that are very.
But that could be a problem. That could cause some bickering.
Anything out of balance can be a problem.
But type A, type B personalities, different personalities, that could cause a problem.
It can cause a problem, particularly when you don't recognize that other people, and there are other things, personalities, that gets into all other levels in terms of how people deal with conflict and things of that nature. But there is a problem when you don't recognize that there are other personalities and that the way that people perceive information, the way people like to give information, the way that people handle inputs and outputs are different. And if you don't understand that and you don't respect those differences,
right,
it creates issues.
And I didn't know that this was a problem in a marriage. I think I could see this more in organizations.
Okay.
I saw this on football staffs. What can cause bickering among football staffs is power struggles.
Yeah.
Power struggles. I saw this a lot when I coached football, offense, defense against each other. Power struggles can cause bickering. It can cause some major problems in an organization because one organization wants to be seen more than organization. And when you begin to cause that, and you got one side over this side, the Bible says the kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. He wasn't talking about just the church. Exactly. He was talking about any organization. If it's divided against itself, it cannot stand.
But think about your household. Oh, that's a good one. If there is this power play in your household, and we don't realize that we're all on the same team, let's talk about how we're going to make this thing work.
Mm-hmm.
What are the dynamics of our household and our lives with our family, our kids, our jobs, whatever. And let's come up with a game plan.
Right.
And see who's going to do what and how we're going to make this work, what we're going to outsource. That how can your home stand if there's a struggle within?
Now, here's the one that I really think a lot of couples, you can do that last year, I'll do this one.
Okay.
I think that causes a lot of problems in a marriage is lack of intimacy. That can cause major bickering. Now, we were supposed to teach this week on peace in the home. Peace in the home. And I think we'll probably teach that in a couple of weeks because next week we're going to talk about confusion. But we're going to talk about love and respect. Love and respect. And I'm going to show you in the Bible how there are certain things a man need.
Okay.
And there's certain things a woman need from the word. I'm going to show you in the word, right? And it's going to be like food and water. You need both, right? But one is more important than the other.
Exactly.
Right? To the man, respect is more important than love. That's important.
Okay.
To the woman, love is more important than respect because the Bible says, husbands, love your wife.
As Christ loved the church.
As Christ loved the church. He didn't say, now, we know that in that love comes respect.
He didn't say exclude the other things.
Right. But then he says in the next verse, wives, submit to your husbands. That's respect. So he's telling you that the one that's most important to the man
Mhm.
is respect. The one that's most important to the woman is love. But in that respect, when you talk about what makes a man, intimacy is very important. We
Okay.
kind of try to push that to the back burner as if that's not a very vital part
Mhm.
of the relationship, but it is critical to the relationship. It is very critical that you spend times of intimacy together. That is very important. Now, intimacy is beyond the bedroom.
I was gonna say,
It's beyond that.
understanding what intimacy entails.
Yes,
It's just that connection,
yes.
that time
That's
together.
what it is.
It's that
It's
connection.
the connection piece.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about pillow conversations, guys. That is very important. When was the last time you had intimate conversations
Mhm.
with each other?
Well, it's that time that you give your significant other that is unique and special to them.
Right.
So not the whole family hanging out. I mean, but it's us.
Right.
It's
Now,
our connection.
Now, notice you just said that now. Intimacy is us.
Us.
Not you said, take the shirt, give me some time to myself. That's important, but that's not intimacy.
Yeah, that's not particularly intimate.
That's not intimacy.
But that's looking out for the self need
That's
of
look
your spouse.
for your spouse, but that's not intimacy. Intimacy is not, and it's not husband saying, okay, I need to go clear my head and go play some golf.
And
or
there's
doing
nothing
whatever
wrong
you do.
with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying that's not intimacy.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's self-care.
And that's important.
That's important. Self-care is vitally important. But what we're talking about now, self-care can cause bickering. When a person don't feel like they have time for self-care, that can cause bickering. But what we're talking about right now is a lack of intimacy. You coming together, like my wife said, coming together and making that time for each other, finding out what makes this person tick, what makes this person breathe, what makes this person do this. I'm sorry.
No, that's excellent. Well, you hit on one I was going to say, unmet needs. Unmet needs is very broad, but that could be, for example, self-care. That I need some time to refresh and regroup, or I need words of affirmation from you. I need unmet needs. There is a need, something that you need that is not being met, and it can cause bickering. Needs could be in other areas. There could be needs such as, I need to feel secure. So we're having some financial, and I'm uncomfortable. I'm not at peace. So unmet needs can hit a lot of gamuts. It can hit a lot of places. Daily irritations. Life be lifing. Just tired, y'all.
Life.
You ever just been tired?
Lifing, y'all.
Like, don't nobody call my name. Like, it's just like every corner you turn around, there is a need. Folks need to eat, and bills need to be addressed, and the yard need to be. It's just life be lifing.
Life be lifing, y'all.
And then you gotta, all this stuff you're supposed to do to take care of yourself, and then your spouse won't leave me.
But I told my wife one time, I said, honey, one of the things we have to understand is that we're not trying to win a battle. We're trying to win a war.
Wow.
When it comes to your home, you want to win battles now, because in order to win the war, you got to win some battles. But some battles, you be like, okay.
Pick and choose.
Because what you're trying to do is create that harmony in your home where intimacy can live, intimacy can live, unmet needs can be met, right? And the last one you just said was that when that life starts lifing, your home could be a safe harbor.
Exactly. Home should be a safe place.
This could be the harbor.
It should be a place of peace.
It should be a place of peace.
It shouldn't be like, you know what? I need some peace of mind. I got to go everywhere, but not that house.
So let's talk about
hold on. It's another one. I got one more. I'm sorry. The other one is poor conflict resolution skills. Some of us don't know how to deal with conflict.
That's true.
It's interesting. I was talking to one of my sons today, and we were talking about it, and that particular child was saying, I don't know if I take constructive criticism. Well, I didn't even know they knew the name. I'm like, where'd you get that from? But some of the conflict resolution skills, some of us don't want nobody ever say anything to us.
That's true.
Well, and when I say, of course, we don't.
Or we're going to defense mode.
Or we're going to defense mode.
That was me. That was me. Because when you grew up in a house that was rigid, in religious, because see, religion always tell you what you can't do, what you can't. You'll never measure up. You'll never meet that goal in religion, right? So when you deal with that, now it builds in you an awareness where I can't ever do it right. I can't ever get it right. I can't ever get it right. And sometimes when somebody's trying to just show you something that can correct you or help you, they're not criticizing you. They're trying to help you, but you hear criticism. You hear criticism. Yeah. That's the danger, guys, of an overbearing mother to a male child. I'm talking about that on Thursday nights. You need to listen to that. You need to listen to that. Not you. I'm saying they need to listen to that.
What you trying
An
to
overbearing mother. I've seen this. An overbearing mother where the mama just say anything and everything and tearing a child, a male child. I don't know about a female because I'm not a female, but I do know about this. I've been studying this about a male child when they have an overbearing mother, just cruel and critical to them. When they get married, they're still fighting those demons if they haven't gotten any therapy or help. And so sometimes when their wife is saying something to them that is, it could be
meant to be helpful.
Right. They don't hear the help, they hear the criticism. And because they haven't been healed from that voice of criticism. You want to tune in that on Thursday.
Yeah, and you said that and it made me think just something in the future that we probably should talk about is we talk about filters. You talked about how they hear the criticism of their mother. We got to talk about healing.
Right.
Some of us need some healing.
Yeah.
And you can get as much information and things of that nature. Your spouse can walk around and try to lay stuff out nice to you as nicely as they can. Your boss can try to lay it out as nicely as they can. They can be as sweet as they possibly can at Walmart. But if you're not healed, if there's some brokenness on the inside, there's some scars, it really won't matter.
And part of the healing process, Kim, is sitting down just talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to
and I think recognizing as well, which is part of sitting down and talking. Sometimes we don't recognize that we have some scars.
Now, one of the most amazing things, I said, talking to somebody, I'm going to put a catch to that now, because Apostle Chairman said something that was powerful today. He said, you got to vet that person you talk to.
If you talk to anybody, some people got messed up now.
Okay, let's run through these right quick and we'll be done. How to overcome bickering. That's Jesus and a whole lot of coffee, see? Couples and a whole lot of coffee, Jonathan.
Okay, so how to overcome
you want to take a break and then come back and talk about overcoming that? Or
sure.
You want to take a break and go to Life 101 and let that be Life 101 then?
We can be.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to Life 101. In Life 101, we'll talk about how to overcome bickering, okay? Life 101. All right, guys. So we're going to give y'all like a couple of things real quick on how we've been talking about bickering, and we talked about how life. Now you got to overcome. My wife talked about the powerful thing. Some of the stuff you do really need to be healed from.
We need healing.
You need to be healed from.
We need healing.
In my opening story, I talked about those two monks. Some of that stuff you just need to let go, and you need to release because you've been carrying it too long.
Let go and let God.
You need some help on improving your communication skills, men.
Everybody.
But men
I'm gonna jump in on that. I know you say men, but I think everyone can improve their communication skills, and that's just not talking. An important part of communication is
I'm sorry,
listening.
I'm shaking the camera.
Oh, it's active listening, actually hearing people.
And Kim brought something to my attention today. I got to really ask for forgiveness, and I'm going to ask for forgiveness
on camera.
Right here on camera. So, because I didn't realize I did that till you told me that.
What you did?
You said sometimes when I start talking to you, you'll start. She said I'll start texting somebody. I did not realize I did that.
He'll start texting. He'll start watching the video. He'll start.
But I got to work on that. I got to work on that because
that attention span.
Because I'm on camera live. I'm being honest. You know who irritates me when they do that? Dylan Ahmad Johnson.
Don't you talk about my sweet baby.
My son.
He that sweet pumpkin.
I'll be talking to him, and Dylan will just go to, and then be like, I told him something like, I got $1 million.
He does that to you?
Then they'll come up and say, Tyson Fury fight tonight. You be like,
he does that to you?
yes.
Oh, Probably because he did
it
that to me and I flipped that phone
I might
out.
need to pop that.
I flipped that phone out.
No, we don't spank kids.
I didn't spank him. But he lost that. I just,
Number 2, manage stress. Manage stress.
Yeah.
Number 3, resolve conflict effectively. Now that's sweeping that stuff under the rug.
Effective, yeah.
Guys, align your expectations with reality.
Come on now.
Okay. Now we know God takes us from faith to faith, but we haven't gotten there yet.
That's worth repeating. What is the reality of the situation that you and your spouse, your household is facing?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that we can't aspire, but stop holding people captive to things that's just not realistic.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Foster intimacy. That word foster intimacy means just, hey, improving that.
Create an environment for it.
Improving that. And here's the last one, because it's going to happen, but you got to manage it.
Okay.
Manage your daily irritations.
Mm.
Okay. And you got to come up with some kind of, let me tell you a story that happened with me when I took over this new position that I had this year. At the beginning of the year, it's hard for me to manage my irritations, and I was bringing stuff home. And my wife looked at me one day. She said, let me tell you something. She said, you're coming home with all of this stress and disrupting this house. She said, but they sleeping good at night.
They ain't thought nothing else about you.
When she told me, she said, these people sleeping good and I'm all in knots, but they, I hope they didn't pick up on the camera, but I mean,
probably.
That gave me a new perspective on life.
They done went on about their business.
I said, you know what? I got to work on that.
And you holding your whole household captive.
Kim,
to this foolery.
Everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was getting it. Dylan was getting it. Not Dylan was here. He was the only one wasn't getting it, but everybody was getting it.
And when you say getting it, not so much that something was said or things of that nature. It's just you change the atmosphere and people can feel the heaviness.
Right.
And it's like, you ever been around someone and they're heavy or something's going and it just sucks the life out of the room? Everybody happy now. Everybody need a nap. Right. Everybody down. So.
All right, guys, we'll come back and we'll close out the show. All right, guys, great show today. Bickering, I believe that's the thing we're going to talk about, what bickering leads to next week is confusion. And then I really think next week we really need to, I don't know, because it's kind of hard to do spiritual stuff online while we're doing this. But
we do our best.
We'll do our best.
Let the Lord
maybe God will give us something to do next week as we're talking about confusion, because bickering leads to confusion.
Okay.
And how to get healed from some of that stuff, because bickering does lead to confusion, and you don't want confusion in your home. Why you don't want confusion in your home? Because the enemy is after your agreement.
Yeah.
Because if he can put an agreement apart, nothing will happen. But when you get in that agreement,
think about it.
Be done.
You know what I thought about it? How the scripture talks about how he inhabits the praises of his people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got confusion and bickering going on in your house, who do you think hanging out in there?
Right.
You don't want that in your home.
Right.
You don't want that.
You don't. Anything else, honey, before we leave out today?
No. Just wish the people a great, phenomenal,
have an amazing
awesome
week. An amazing week. I did want to say something about.
Where's your coffee? You gotta take another sip of your coffee.
My wife told me not to say.
You gotta take another sip of your coffee.
So we're called couples in a whole lot. Jonathan probably even watching.
Jonathan Johnson, I know, right?
Couples and a whole lot of coffee. Now, I did want to say this about managing stress.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, try to work out. That's been helpful to help manage stress.
It's something about that, getting your mind on something else. I think the hormones that everything. It's just once you get into a flow. Now, I ain't gonna say that first one's gonna help you, but if you gotta stick with it, you gotta stick with it.
All right, guys, we'll see you on next week. We'll try to address some of the comments, but somebody can't see them. But we'll just go ahead.
Somebody else needs to put on their glasses, but maybe you can address it. You can address it next week.
Next week,
when you. How about that?
All right. Guys, see you next week.
Have a